This audiobook guides you into your own inner resurrection, where the universe rises to match the vibration you embody. As you listen, you'll remember the ancient truth that reality rearranges itself the moment your inner state returns to alignment. The power you've been seeking hasn't been missing. It has been quietly waiting within you to awaken. Inner Resurrection. Introduction. The universe has always spoken to you in quiet ways, through synchronicities that arrive like soft echoes, through perfect timing that feels almost whispered, through the hidden currents of energy moving beneath all things. You are not a spectator in this vast unfolding, but a living thread in the tapestry itself, a co-creator whose very essence shapes the world around you. This ancient truth has been carried across centuries, guarded by those who knew that manifestation is not a forceful act, but a returning to harmony with the eternal flow of universal energy. The law of attraction moves through vibration, steady and constant as the law of gravity. Every thought you breathe, every feeling you cradle, sends ripples across the unseen field that surrounds you. These ripples call back experiences that mirror your inner state, revealing that nothing in your life has ever been random, only resonant. You are a tuning fork of consciousness, sounding your frequency into the cosmos, and the universe, vast and attentive, responds with perfect precision, bringing into form whatever matches your inner song. Disconnection from your desires is never a denial. It is merely a moment of misalignment between the surface of your thoughts and the deeper vibration of your being. When you awaken to this truth, the struggle to force outcomes dissolves. You step instead into a sacred dance of creation, where manifestation becomes the natural expression of your authentic self. What lies ahead is not the learning of something new, but the remembering of something ancient, your inseparable union with the creative force that pulses through all existence. As you move through these teachings, you will uncover what has always been yours, the power to align, to reshape, to manifest. Each chapter opens a hidden door within you, revealing another facet of your inner resurrection. The universe is not outside of you. It moves through you, breathes through you, and becomes you in every unfolding moment. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Alignment. Chapter 1. The Gentle Spark of Belief. Through the ages, a simple truth has guided those who understand the universe's ways. Belief shapes reality itself. Let this ancient wisdom unfold through two tales that illuminate this principle. In a bustling coastal town lived Nora, an artist who had lost her way. Her brushes lay untouched, her canvases blank, as doubt had dimmed her creative light. One morning, while walking along the shore, she noticed a peculiar shell, perfectly spiral-shaped, just like the ones she used to paint. Later that day, a child ran past her window flying a kite decorated with spiral patterns. At sunset, she watched clouds swirl into the same mesmerizing shape. These spiral patterns kept appearing day after day, until Nora could no longer dismiss them as mere coincidence. Something within her stirred, a remembrance of the creative force that had once flowed freely through her art. As she opened herself to these signs, more synchronicities emerged. Her paintings began to flow again, not from effort, but from a renewed connection to the universal current of creation. In another town lived Felix, a merchant who had lost his passion for life. His days felt mechanical until he made a simple choice, to believe in joy without reason. He began each morning affirming, "Joy flows naturally to me and through me." Soon, customers started commenting on his warm presence. A lost letter arrived containing forgotten poetry he'd written in his youth. A musician began playing outside his shop each afternoon, filling the air with melodies that lifted everyone's spirits. Felix hadn't changed his circumstances. He had changed his belief. Like a magnet drawing iron filings, his renewed faith attracted experiences that matched his inner conviction. He discovered that belief needs no evidence to begin its work. It is the evidence that follows belief, not the other way around. These stories mirror an eternal truth. Faith is not blind hope, but the first act of creation. When you trust in the unseen orchestration of the universe, you activate its response. Your belief becomes the bridge between possibility and manifestation. Ancient practice. As you lay down each night, choose one quality: peace, courage, or love. Whisper it softly to yourself, not as a wish or a want, but as an acknowledgement of what already exists within you. Let this quality glow gently in your heart as you drift into sleep. This practice, passed down through generations, allows your chosen virtue to weave itself into the fabric of your being, attracting its reflection in your waking life. Chapter 2. The Language of Feeling. On the outskirts of an ancient city, among rolling hills, lived Clara, a woman who believed that mastering life meant mastering thought. She spent countless hours analyzing, planning, and reconstructing her mental patterns. Yet the more she tried to think her way to happiness, the more it eluded her grasp. Each morning, she would meticulously craft detailed visualizations, forcing herself to maintain perfect focus. Each evening, she would berate herself for failing to manifest her desires. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responded not to her thoughts, but to her underlying frustration, bringing more situations that made her feel inadequate. Until one spring morning, while tending to her garden, Clara noticed something extraordinary. The flowers that thrived weren't those she obsessed over, but those that simply brought her joy to nurture. This simple observation sparked a profound realization. The universe responds not to the precision of thought, but to the resonance of feeling. Your emotions serve as the universe's most faithful compass. When you feel contracted, heavy, or resistant, you're moving away from alignment. When you feel expanded, light, and joyful, you're moving toward it. This is why forcing yourself to think correctly rarely yields the results you seek. The universe responds to your emotional frequency, not your mental effort. Consider the story of Louis, a musician who dreamed of composing for grand orchestras. For years, he studied music theory obsessively, believing that technical perfection would lead to success. Yet his compositions, though technically flawless, felt lifeless. One day, overwhelmed by frustration, he abandoned his usual approach and simply played what brought him joy. That shift changed everything. Following the thread of what felt good led him to compose in an entirely new way. His music began touching hearts rather than just impressing minds. Within months, his compositions attracted the attention of renowned orchestras, not because he had thought harder, but because he had finally aligned with his emotional truth. The universe speaks the language of feeling. Your emotions are not obstacles to overcome or problems to solve. They are your built-in guidance system, constantly showing you whether you're aligned with or resistant to your natural state of well-being. When you feel good, you are in harmony with the creative force of the universe. When you feel negative emotion, you're simply receiving feedback that your thoughts are out of alignment with your deeper knowing. There is no need to fight against negative emotions or force yourself to feel positive. Simply acknowledge where you are and gently turn toward what feels better. Think of your emotions as the universe's love letters to you. They are not random. They are precise indicators of your relationship with the flow of life. Joy isn't the reward for correct manifestation. It is the very power that attracts what you desire. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment and breathe deeply, rather than forcing any particular thought or outcome. Simply allow appreciation to rise naturally in your heart. Notice the subtle warmth that builds in your chest as you focus on things that genuinely please you. This gentle warmth is the language the universe understands, the frequency of allowing rather than forcing, of flowing rather than striving. Let this feeling be your guide, for it is the key that unlocks the universe's abundant response. Chapter 3. The Mirror Within. In a small village among ancient hills, Hazel tended her shop of herbs and remedies. Each morning she would arrange her shelves with meticulous care, yet customers seemed to pass by her door. "Perhaps I'm not meant for success," she would whisper to herself, unaware that these very words shaped the reality before her. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, reflects back to you the essence of your thoughts with unwavering precision. Like a mirror that shows not just your outer form, but the inner landscape of your mind, every circumstance in your life manifests as a reflection of your deepest held beliefs. Hazel's story teaches us this eternal truth. Day after day she noticed the same patterns, customers choosing other shops, opportunities slipping away, and plans falling through. Until one morning, while arranging her prized lavender, she caught a glimpse of herself in the shop window. In that reflection, she saw not just her image, but the doubt that had become her constant companion. This moment of recognition changed everything. As Hazel began to observe her thoughts, she discovered that her circumstances were not random misfortunes, but perfect mirrors of her inner dialogue. With this understanding, she started blessing her shop each morning, speaking words of abundance and service rather than doubt and lack. Gradually, the mirror of her reality began to shift, reflecting back the new patterns of her thoughts. In a distant city, Dean faced a different mirror. His business partnerships had ended in betrayal, leaving him bitter and distrustful. Each new venture seemed to attract the same pattern of deceit, until he realized he was carrying the weight of unforgiveness like a dark cloud around him. Through the wisdom of an old teacher, Dean learned that peace, true inner peace, acts as the most powerful magnet for positive manifestation. He began a practice of forgiveness, not for others' sake, but to free himself from the patterns that bound him. As his heart lightened, new opportunities emerged, carrying with them partners of integrity and vision. Your life, in every detail, reflects the sum of your thought patterns. Each circumstance serves as a faithful mirror, showing you exactly what you hold in your consciousness. When you encounter repeated struggles, look not to the outer world for change, but to the thoughts and beliefs you carry within. The power to transform your reality lies in this understanding. Change your thoughts, and the mirror must shift to reflect your new consciousness. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the operation of universal law, as precise as gravity and as natural as the turning of the seasons. Just as Dean discovered that peace attracts peace, and Hazel learned that confidence attracts success, you too can consciously shape the reflection you wish to see. Begin with this sacred practice. Stand before your mirror each morning and smile into your own reflection. Speak words of blessing to yourself until you feel honest affection glowing back at you. This simple ritual aligns you with the frequency of self-love, which the universe must then mirror back in countless ways. Chapter 4. The Frequency of Gratitude. Within your experience lies a sacred mirror, reflecting back the essence of your inner world with unwavering accuracy. Each circumstance, whether welcomed or unwanted, emerges from the depths of your consciousness, not as punishment or reward, but as perfect reflection. In an old wooden chest, beneath layers of forgotten memories, Lydia discovered a leather-bound journal from years past. Its chapters held simple notes of appreciation for morning sunlight, fresh bread, kind words from strangers. As she read each entry, something stirred within her. The following days brought unexpected gifts, a promotion, reconciliation with an old friend, even a chance encounter that led to a beautiful partnership. The universe had responded not to her rediscovery of the journal, but to the awakening of genuine appreciation within her heart. The law of attraction operates through resonance. When you emanate authentic gratitude, you align with the frequency of abundance itself. This alignment magnifies your natural state of wholeness, allowing more to flow into your experience. Yet, this principle extends beyond material manifestation. It transforms your perception of reality itself. Patrick, a farmer who lost his harvest to an early frost, exemplifies this truth. Instead of surrendering to despair, he found himself thanking the frozen fields for teaching him resilience. This shift in perspective revealed hidden opportunities. Neighboring farms offered partnership, and his community united to support his transition to more resilient crops. His gratitude transformed apparent loss into unprecedented growth. These stories illuminate an eternal truth. Gratitude is not merely a response to abundance. It is the very foundation from which abundance springs. When you appreciate what exists now, you open channels for greater blessings to flow. This applies equally to challenges, for in blessing what appears as adversity, you dissolve the very resistance that perpetuates struggle. The universe matches your vibration with mathematical precision. Every experience manifests as an exact reflection of your inner state. As you cultivate genuine thankfulness, you attune yourself to life's natural abundance. This is not about forcing positive thoughts, but about recognizing the inherent gifts within each moment. Ancient practice. At dawn, recall 3 moments of gratitude and let each memory expand within your chest like the sunrise. Chapter 5. The Dance of Allowing. In the ancient markets of a distant land, a merchant named Evelyn spent her days calculating, planning, and striving to bend circumstances to her will. Each morning she would arrange her precious silks with meticulous precision, fighting against the desert winds that scattered her careful displays. The more she resisted, the stronger the winds seemed to blow, until exhaustion left her questioning all she knew about success. Through your journey of manifestation, you may recognize this familiar dance with control. Like Evelyn, you might find yourself pushing against the current, believing that force equals power. Yet the universe operates through a more subtle wisdom, one that invites you to release rather than restrict. The law of attraction reveals its deepest magic not through domination, but through alignment. When you release your grip on how things must unfold, you allow the infinite intelligence of the universe to orchestrate circumstances beyond your limited perspective. This surrender is not passive resignation, but active cooperation with divine timing. Consider water. It does not fight the riverbed, but flows with it, shaping mountains over time through gentle persistence. This is the way of universal law. Your desires are heard the moment they arise, but their manifestation follows a perfect sequence that your conscious mind cannot fully grasp. In a distant valley, Darcy tended her gardens with fierce determination, trying to force her flowers to bloom out of season. Her resistance to nature's rhythm created nothing but withered buds and frustrated hopes. One autumn morning, exhausted from her struggle, she finally released her demands. To her amazement, as winter approached, her garden revealed unexpected gifts. Hardy plants she had never noticed began to thrive, offering rare blooms that brought merchants from distant lands. This truth extends beyond gardens and markets. It touches every aspect of creation. The universe does not require your strain and struggle. It invites your trust, your openness to receiving in ways that may surprise you. When you release your insistence on the how and when, you allow infinite possibilities to emerge. Your role in manifestation is not to orchestrate every detail, but to maintain the frequency of your desire while trusting the divine unfolding. This trust is not blind faith, but recognition of a higher intelligence at work in your life. Every delay carries a gift. Every detour leads to greater alignment. Ancient practice. Repeat softly, "I trust the unfolding," breathing until calm descends like quiet water. Chapter 6. The Compass of Desire. In an ancient village among misty mountains, Pearl lived a life of quiet restraint. Each morning she would pass the village marketplace, averting her eyes from the vibrant silks and gleaming jewelry that called to her heart. To want is to be greedy, she had been taught, and so she buried her desires beneath layers of denial. Yet the universe speaks through the language of desire. Your deepest yearnings are not random impulses to be suppressed, but divine whispers guiding you toward expansion. When you feel a pure longing stir within your heart, you are touching the creative force of the universe itself. Pearl's transformation began the day she witnessed a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. The creature's natural impulse to spread its wings and take flight awakened something within her. She realized that just as the butterfly's desire to fly was integral to its nature, her own desires were sacred promptings from her soul. The moment Pearl embraced her desires with reverence rather than shame, the universe began orchestrating a dance of manifestation. Opportunities arose naturally, resources appeared effortlessly, and her life took on a richness she had never imagined possible. This wisdom found another expression through Clyde, a sculptor who had abandoned his art for a practical career. For years, he denied his passion, until he understood that his longing to create was the universe's way of expressing itself through him. When he finally honored this calling, his hands moved with inspired precision, and his work touched hearts in ways he never imagined possible. Your desires are not random wants, but the universe's invitation to co-create. When you align with the purity of your longing, free from doubt, judgment, or fear, you tap into the same creative force that births stars and orchestrates the seasons. Action then flows not from obligation, but from love, becoming a natural expression of your alignment with universal energy. The ancient practice of desire embodiment. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Now, rather than merely imagining what you want, step fully into the feeling of already living it. Let this feeling saturate every cell of your being. Notice how your body relaxes, how your breath changes, how your energy shifts as you inhabit this reality. Stay here until this feeling becomes as natural as breathing. This is not pretending. It is practicing the frequency of your inevitable manifestation. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. In these moments of sacred communion with your desires, you are tuning your frequency to the reality you wish to experience. Your task is not to make things happen, but to become the living embodiment of what you wish to attract. Chapter 7. The Art of Letting Go. Along a winding mountain path, Bonnie journeyed each day to fetch water from the sacred well. Each morning she would calculate precisely how long the trip should take, clutching her empty vessel with white knuckles, willing the universe to bend to her schedule. Yet invariably, something would delay her. A fallen tree across the path, a sudden rain shower, or fellow travelers needing assistance. The more desperately she clung to her timeline, the more the universe seemed to place obstacles in her way. Her rigid expectations became a prison, trapping her in a cycle of frustration and resistance. You too may recognize this dance. The tighter you grip your desires, the more they seem to slip through your fingers like water. The truth whispers beneath your struggles. Manifestation flows not from force, but from faith. When you release your grip on the how and when, you create space for the universe to work in ways far beyond your limited imagination. For Bonnie, enlightenment arrived through watching Oscar, the village potter. While others rushed to complete their vessels before the market day, Oscar worked with unhurried grace. "The clay knows its own time," he would say, his hands moving in perfect harmony with the spinning wheel. His creations were magnificent, not because he forced them into being, but because he allowed them to emerge naturally. What Oscar understood, what the universe invites you to remember, is that detachment is not abandonment of your desires, but rather a profound trust in the divine timing of their unfolding. When you release your iron grip on outcomes, you free the universe to orchestrate circumstances in ways your logical mind could never conceive. Bonnie began to approach her daily water gathering as a moving meditation. She learned to welcome delays as opportunities for unexpected gifts. A fallen tree became a chance to rest and observe the forest's beauty. Rain showers transformed into moments of cleansing and renewal. Fellow travelers evolved from obstacles into teachers bearing wisdom. As her resistance dissolved, so did the delays. The universe, no longer having to break through walls of expectation, could flow freely through her experience. Her journey to the well became a dance of synchronicity, each step aligned with the natural rhythm of creation. This is the paradox of manifestation. What you desire most comes not through forcing, but through allowing. The universe already knows the perfect path to your desires. Your task is not to direct the river of life, but to flow with it, trusting that its current carries you toward your highest good. The ancient practice of release. Find a peaceful moment in your day. Close your eyes and bring to mind any worries, expectations, or rigid timelines that burden your heart. Now imagine each concern as a bright, beautiful balloon. See their colors: vibrant reds, peaceful blues, serene greens. One by one, with gratitude for their lessons, release these balloons into an infinite sky. Watch them float upward, carrying your attachments into the vast expanse of possibility. Feel the lightness that remains as each balloon disappears into the horizon. This space you've created is where miracles enter, where the universe can now work its magic, unimpeded by your expectations. In releasing, you're not giving up. You're giving over to a wisdom greater than your own. Trust that what's meant for you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant to be yours. Chapter 8. The Whisper of Intuition. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a merchant named Millie sat surrounded by her wares, consumed by endless calculations and strategies. Each morning brought fresh worries about inventory, timing, and competition. Her mind spun endless scenarios, trying to control every variable of her trade. The universe speaks not through the noise of mental chatter, but through the quiet whispers of the heart. Your thoughts, however clever, can become a veil between you and divine guidance. When you release your grip on how things must unfold, you open yourself to wisdom beyond reason. One dawn, as Millie arranged her stall, she felt an inexplicable urge to take a different route to gather her supplies. Her mind protested. The usual path was shorter, more logical. Yet something deeper stirred within her chest, a gentle knowing that transcended reason. For once, she chose to follow this subtle prompting rather than argue with it. This small surrender led her to discover a merchant caravan arriving from distant lands, carrying exactly what her business needed. Had she followed her usual calculated route, this divine orchestration would have passed her by. In that moment, Millie understood. The universe's plan far exceeded what her limited thinking could conceive. In the same village lived Frank, a builder known for his uncanny ability to solve problems that baffled others. When asked about his gift, he would smile and say, "I stopped trying to think my way through and learned to feel my way forward." Frank had discovered that when he quieted his mind and trusted the subtle nudges of intuition, solutions would arise naturally. His greatest works came not from careful planning, but from moments of surrendered listening. The law of attraction operates not through mental force, but through aligned allowing. Your analytical mind serves as a wonderful servant, but a poor master. When you release the need to understand everything, to control every outcome, you align with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. Your task is not to figure everything out, but to trust the knowing that rises from within. The universe communicates through feelings, through intuitive promptings, through the quiet voice of your heart. Your only work is to listen and follow, even when logic protests. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, and allow your awareness to settle into your heart center. Ask one question that matters to you now. Rather than searching for thoughts or answers, simply feel. Notice what subtle sensations, impressions, or knowings arise. Trust that the wisdom you seek already lives within you, waiting to be felt rather than figured out. Chapter 9. The Current of Generosity. In a village among rolling hills, there lived a baker named Daisy who guarded her ingredients as if they were precious gems. Each morning she would measure her flour with trembling hands, fearful that giving too much would leave her with too little. Her customers sensed her hesitation, her reluctance in every loaf she sold. The law of circulation moves through all of life like an eternal river. When you dam its flow with fear, you create the very scarcity you dread. The universe knows no limitation. It is an endless ocean of abundance, waiting to pour through open hearts. One morning, a wandering musician arrived at Daisy's door. Though his pockets were empty, his songs filled the air with joy. Without thinking, Daisy offered him her freshest loaf. As she watched him share pieces with gathering children, something shifted within her. The joy in their faces awakened her to a forgotten truth. Abundance multiplies through sharing. This ancient wisdom echoes across time. What you give with an open heart creates space for greater blessings to enter. Just as a tree releases its fruit without fear of depletion, knowing spring will bring new blossoms, you are part of this natural cycle of giving and receiving. In a distant city, Walter, a wealthy merchant, lived bound by similar fears. His warehouses overflowed with goods, yet he lived as though one misstep would leave him destitute. Upon witnessing a family in need, something stirred in his heart. Breaking free from his patterns, he began sharing his abundance. With each generous act, his business flourished mysteriously, as if the universe itself celebrated his awakening. These stories whisper an ageless truth. Generosity is not measured in quantity but in the love with which it flows. When you give from joy rather than obligation, you align with the universe's natural abundance. Every act of sharing becomes a declaration of trust in life's endless supply. Sacred practice. Offer one small kindness today and silently say, "I give freely, I receive freely." Let this simple act remind you that you are a channel for infinite abundance, not its source. In giving with joy, you open yourself to receive life's boundless gifts. Chapter 10. The Light Beyond Judgment. In a remote mountain village, a woman named Ruth tended a garden where nothing seemed to grow. Each morning she would water her withered plants with tears of bitterness, her thoughts heavy with memories of those who had wounded her. The soil remained barren, a reflection of the hardness that had taken root in her heart. Within you dwells the power to transmute darkness into light through the alchemy of forgiveness. When you hold on to past hurts, you create a fortress of resistance that blocks the universe's natural flow of good. Your judgments become the very chains that bind you to suffering. Ruth's transformation began when she discovered an ancient scroll hidden beneath her grandmother's floorboards. Its weathered chapters contained but a single truth: as you release others, you free yourself. At first, she dismissed these words as naive wisdom, yet they haunted her dreams, whispering of a liberation she secretly yearned for. Each person who crosses your path serves as a mirror, reflecting aspects of yourself that seek healing. The judgment you hold against another becomes a weight you alone must carry. In forgiving others, you dissolve the very patterns that drew those experiences to you. In a distant city, a merchant named Archie faced constant conflict in his dealings. His approach had always been to overwhelm opposition with force of will, yet the more he pushed, the more resistance he encountered. Through a chance meeting with a wise woman in the marketplace, he learned that understanding was stronger than force. "When you seek to understand rather than overcome," she told him, "you align with the universe's natural harmony." Archie began to listen more than speak, to seek common ground rather than victory. As his heart softened, so did the hearts of those around him. To resist what is means to fight against the universe itself. Acceptance is not weakness, it is the supreme act of power, for in accepting what is, you create space for what could be. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harm, it means freeing yourself from the burden of carrying pain. As Ruth began to forgive, first in small ways, then in deeper measures, her garden slowly awakened. Flowers bloomed where weeds once choked the earth. The transformation outside mirrored the peace growing within. She realized that her judgment had been the poison killing her garden all along. The universe responds not to your words or actions, but to the energy you emanate. When you release others from your judgment, you release yourself from the frequency of conflict. This is the hidden power of forgiveness. It attunes you to the natural state of grace that is your birthright. The practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind someone whose actions have caused you pain. Picture them standing before you, surrounded by soft light. Now, imagine a warm, gentle beam of light flowing from your heart to theirs. Don't force forgiveness. Simply allow this light to carry away any heaviness between you. Feel the lightness that remains. This is your natural state of being. Part 2. The Expansion of Creation. Chapter 11. The Magnetic Mind. In a sunlit attic, an old wooden chest beckoned Elsie each morning. Inside lay blank canvases, untouched by paint or purpose. For years she had dismissed her artistic yearnings as mere fantasy, unworthy of attention in a world that valued practicality above dreams. Yet the universe speaks through symbols, and that chest held more than canvas. It contained the seeds of her awakening. Your imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the workshop where reality is first shaped. The universe knows no difference between a thought held with conviction and a physical experience. When you envision your desires with unwavering faith, you are not daydreaming. You are participating in the first phase of creation. Each morning, Elsie began painting scenes from the life she longed to live. As her brush stroked the canvas, she felt the textures of her desires, breathed in the colors of her dreams, and allowed her heart to dance with possibilities. The more she painted, the more her outer world began to mirror her inner visions. Opportunities emerged like flowers breaking through soil, each one perfectly aligned with the pictures she had created in her mind. Across the city, Trent discovered this same truth through a different medium. His vision board, once a collage of magazine clippings, transformed into a powerful magnetic field as his belief grew stronger than his doubt. He stopped questioning whether his dreams were possible and began living as though they were inevitable. Within months, the images he had carefully selected manifested with such precision that even skeptics paused to wonder. The universe responds not to your words or wishes, but to the feeling tone of your consciousness. When you imagine with such clarity that your whole being resonates with the reality of your vision, you activate the law of attraction at its most potent level. Your task is not to figure out how your desires will manifest. That is the domain of infinite intelligence. Your role is to hold the vision with such clarity and conviction that the universe has no choice but to conform to your dominant thought patterns. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and spend 5 minutes seeing your deepest wish as already fulfilled. Notice the details, the sounds, sensations, and emotions present in this realized vision. Feel genuine gratitude washing through you, knowing this reality is already taking shape. Then, like a child blowing a dandelion into the wind, release your vision completely to the infinite wisdom of the universe, trusting that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Chapter 12. The Rhythm of Trust. In the shade of an ancient olive grove, a merchant named Ruby sat counting her losses. Day after day she had watched her plans crumble like autumn leaves, each setback feeling like a personal affront from the universe. Her warehouse remained empty, her ships delayed by storms, and her competitors seemed to dance effortlessly past every obstacle that blocked her path. The universal law works not through force but through perfect timing. When you align with its rhythm, you discover that what appeared as delay was actually divine protection, guiding you toward greater possibilities than your limited vision could perceive. For 7 days, Ruby raged against her circumstances, until an old sage approached her garden. "The olive tree teaches patience," he said, gesturing to the gnarled branches above. "It bears fruit in its own season, refusing to yield to human demands. Yet its harvest is always perfect." These words pierced the veil of Ruby's resistance. She began to notice how forcing outcomes only created tension, while surrender invited grace. Her warehouse's emptiness allowed for necessary repairs she would have otherwise ignored. The delayed ships arrived with more valuable cargo than originally planned. What seemed like setbacks were actually stepping stones to greater abundance. In a distant valley, Gordon faced similar lessons. As a master craftsman, his reputation rested on perfection. Yet lately, every project encountered mysterious delays. Materials arrived late, tools broke unexpectedly, and clients changed their minds at the last moment. Instead of fighting these delays, Gordon chose to trust. Each pause in his work revealed improvements he could make to his designs. When materials arrived late, better ones often appeared. Client changes led to more beautiful creations than originally conceived. By relaxing into the flow of divine timing, he discovered that the universe's schedule far surpassed his own limited planning. The law of attraction responds not to your demands, but to your vibration. When you resist what is, you create tension that blocks your good. But when you trust in divine timing, you enter a state of allowing where everything unfolds in perfect sequence. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Settle into a comfortable position and close your eyes. Begin to whisper softly, "Everything is unfolding precisely." Let these words ripple through your being until you feel each cell relaxing into serenity. Continue until you sense a deep peace replacing any anxiety about timing. This ancient practice aligns you with the natural rhythm of universal law, where all things manifest in their perfect season. Chapter 13. The Garden of Focus. In a bustling marketplace, a woman named Mabel stood behind her flower stall, counting the empty spaces where blooms should have been. Her attention fixed on every customer who passed without stopping, every coin that wasn't earned, every petal that fell before finding a home. With each passing hour, her spirit wilted like untended flowers in summer heat. You see, the universe responds not to what you need, but to what you notice. Your attention is the sunlight that makes reality bloom. When you water the seeds of lack with worried thoughts, those very concerns multiply like weeds in an untended garden. The law of attraction operates through this principle of attention. Energy flows where focus goes, creating more of whatever captures your gaze. This is not mere philosophy. It is as natural and inevitable as a flower turning toward the sun. One morning, as Mabel arranged her dwindling inventory, she noticed a single rose had opened overnight, its petals perfect in the dawn light. For a moment, she forgot her worries and simply appreciated its beauty. In that instant of pure attention, something shifted. A customer appeared, drawn to that very rose, then bought several others. Throughout the day, Mabel began deliberately seeking out beauty, the way sunlight played on leaves, the smile of a child, the kindness of passing strangers. Gradually, her stall transformed. The more she focused on the beauty present, the more beauty arrived to be noticed. In another part of town, Calvin's story mirrored this truth. His small bookshop had been struggling, and he spent his days obsessing over empty shelves and mounting bills. But one afternoon, he chose to focus on organizing and beautifying the books he did have. He created inviting displays with his remaining inventory, polished the windows until they sparkled, and welcomed each visitor with genuine warmth. Within weeks, his shop began to thrive. The same space that had felt empty now felt curated. The same inventory that had seemed insufficient now appeared carefully selected. His appreciation had magnetized abundance, drawing in exactly what he needed. These stories whisper an ageless truth. What you focus on expands. Like a gardener choosing which plants to water, you have the power to nourish the reality you wish to grow. Ancient practice. Each moment your eyes fall upon something beautiful. Pause and let your heart expand with appreciation. When thoughts of lack arise, gently turn your gaze toward any sign of abundance within sight: a ray of sunlight, a blooming flower, a smile, a book, a cup of tea. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, transforms your energy from scarcity to abundance, one grateful glance at a time. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Echo of Words. The law of attraction operates through this principle of attention. Energy flows where focus goes, creating more of whatever captures your gaze. This is not mere philosophy. It is the fundamental mechanism by which reality shapes itself around your consciousness. One morning, Dorothy, a seamstress in a small village, began noting every flaw in her day. the slightly crooked stitches in her work, the customers who haggled over prices, the late deliveries of fabric. With each complaint that passed her lips, she unknowingly planted seeds of discord. Soon, her once steady business developed genuine troubles. More orders arrived late. More customers grew dissatisfied. More mistakes appeared in her needlework. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, was simply matching her frequency. Each word of lack called forth more lack. Each criticism summoned more reasons for critique. You see, your words are not mere expressions of thought. They are vibrations that ripple through the fabric of creation itself. In the same village lived Clyde, a woodworker who had discovered this truth through his own journey. Where once he had muttered about the scarcity of quality wood and demanding clients, he learned to speak words of appreciation for the grain patterns in each piece, for the satisfaction of completing each project, for the opportunity to create beauty with his hands. As his language shifted, so did his reality. The finest timber began finding its way to his workshop. Clients who valued his artistry sought him out. His work became known not just in the village, but in lands beyond. The key lies not in forced positivity, but in genuine attention to what uplifts. When you speak of good, you tune your being to receive more goodness. When you voice gratitude, the universe responds with more reasons to be grateful. This ancient wisdom teaches that your tongue is a rudder, steering the ship of your experience. Each word you utter is a seed planted in the garden of your life. Choose them with the care of a master gardener selecting precious seeds. The practice. Stand in stillness, feet grounded upon the earth. Draw a deep breath and let it fill your chest. Now speak one sentence of pure truth and power, an affirmation that resonates with your deepest knowing. Feel how these words vibrate not just in your throat, but through your entire being. Let them ring through you like a bell of pure intention. Chapter 15. The Gift of Stillness. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Iris paced anxiously between stalls, her mind racing with 1,000 tasks undone. Each morning she would rush from vendor to vendor, desperately trying to secure the finest goods before her competitors. Her days were a blur of negotiations, transactions, and endless motion. Yet prosperity seemed to dance just beyond her grasp. Through your own journey, you may recognize this familiar dance of doing, doing, doing. The universal law reveals a paradox. The more frantically you chase, the more elusive your desires become. Like water slipping through clenched fingers, abundance cannot be seized. It must be allowed to flow. The universe speaks in the language of stillness. When you pause to align with its rhythm, you tap into the infinite stream of creation itself. This truth remains unchanged since the dawn of time. All power exists in the present moment. It is here, in the sanctuary of now, that manifestation takes root. One day, as Iris sat exhausted by her empty stall, an old woman approached. "Child," she whispered, "the treasures you seek already exist in the silence between your thoughts." These words stirred something ancient in Iris's soul. That evening, instead of planning her next day's strategy, she simply sat in quiet meditation. In the stillness, she felt a subtle shift, like a key turning in a lock. The next morning, without rushing or striving, she found herself naturally drawn to exactly the right vendors at exactly the right moments. Opportunities seemed to materialize before her, as if the universe itself was orchestrating each encounter. This truth was embodied by Floyd, a potter whose workshop sat at the edge of town. While others labored endlessly at their wheels, Floyd began each day in meditation. He would sit, eyes closed, feeling the clay's potential before his hands ever touched it. Soon, collectors traveled from distant lands, drawn to the presence infused within each piece. Your own life holds this same promise. When you cease the endless doing and root yourself in being, you align with the universe's natural abundance. Like a flower turning toward the sun, your energy naturally draws forth that which serves your highest good. In the space between action and reaction, between stimulus and response, lies the fertile void where all possibilities exist. This is not idleness. It is conscious connection with the source of all creation. Through presence, you become a clear channel for universal energy to flow. The ancient practice passed down through generations beckons. Sit in silence for 5 minutes, anchoring into each breath as proof that you are enough. Let each inhale remind you of your connection to infinite potential. Each exhale release the need to force or struggle. In this stillness, feel how the universe moves through you, orchestrating all things in perfect time. Chapter 16. The Power of Perspective. In a small village perched atop a windswept hill, a weaver named Annie sat before her loom, threads tangled in hopeless knots. Day after day she battled with her craft, seeing each imperfection as proof of her inadequacy. The more she struggled against the snarls, the tighter they became, until her once joyful work became a source of torment. This resistance you feel when life presents obstacles is not a wall, it is a doorway. The universe operates through an elegant system of growth, where each challenge carries within it the seed of greater understanding. What appears as opposition is often an invitation to expand. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that perception shapes reality more powerfully than circumstance. When you shift your view from adversity to opportunity, the universe mirrors this transformation back to you. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the activation of a cosmic law as real as gravity. Annie's breakthrough came when she began viewing each tangle not as her enemy, but as her teacher. Rather than fighting against the knots, she studied them with curiosity. In this space of acceptance, solutions emerged naturally, as if they had been waiting all along for her to soften her resistance. In a neighboring village lived Milton, a potter whose kiln had cracked during the winter frost. Instead of surrendering to despair, he chose to see this setback as an invitation for innovation. Within days, an idea sparked, a new firing technique that would not only repair his kiln, but improve its efficiency. His willingness to embrace challenge as opportunity had opened a channel for divine inspiration to flow. These teachings reveal a fundamental truth. What you resist persists, but what you embrace transforms. Each obstacle carries a gift wrapped in the garment of difficulty. When you approach life's challenges with wonder rather than warfare, you align with the universe's natural flow of evolution and growth. This wisdom lives not in grand gestures, but in subtle shifts of perception. Every frustration becomes a sacred question, every setback an invitation to deeper understanding. As you practice this ancient art of transmutation, you'll discover that life's greatest challenges often precede its most magnificent breakthroughs. When irritation arises, whisper, What lesson of love hides here? Chapter 17. The Union of Action and Faith. In a sun-dappled courtyard, Ella spent her mornings tending to her garden. While others rushed frantically through their days, she moved with unhurried grace, listening to an inner rhythm that guided her hands. The flowers seemed to lean toward her touch, as if responding to the joy that flowed through her movements. You see, the universe responds not to the action itself, but to the energy that flows through it. When you align with the natural current of creation, even the simplest gesture becomes infused with transformative power. This is the sacred dance between vision and manifestation, the bridge where thought becomes form through inspired movement. The voice of the universe speaks through your enthusiasm, through the quickening of your spirit when an idea resonates with truth. This is not the frantic energy of forced action, but the effortless flow of aligned purpose. Every great achievement in history began not with strain and struggle, but with someone following the whispers of joy in their heart. In the bustling marketplace, Henry crafted musical instruments. Unlike others who measured success by quantity, he worked at a pace that honored the song in each piece of wood. Those who passed his shop often paused, drawn by the peaceful energy that emanated from his workspace. His creations, though fewer in number than his competitors, became known throughout the land for their exceptional resonance. "The wood tells me when it's ready," he would say to those who questioned his methods. "I simply listen and follow." Through this approach, his work multiplied naturally, attracting those who recognized the difference between objects made with joy and those produced through mere effort. The universe does not require your strain or struggle. It invites you to discover the power of inspired action, movement that springs from alignment rather than obligation. When you act from this place of inner harmony, you become a channel through which the infinite expresses itself. Your task is not to force outcomes through sheer will, but to attune yourself to the rhythm of creation. Let joy be your compass, enthusiasm your guide. When you feel the spark of inspiration, follow it without hesitation. This is the universe moving through you, bringing your visions into form through the most natural path. Practice. Commit to one joyful action today, simply because it feels aligned. Do not question its purpose or outcome. Simply allow yourself to be moved by the pure delight of doing what calls to your heart. Chapter 18. The Harmony of Relationships. In an ancient village among rolling hills, Flora discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of relationships. Each morning, she walked to the well at the center of the village, where tensions and conflicts often erupted among the villagers gathering water. Day after day, she noticed how others' harsh words and angry glances seemed to follow her like shadows. One dawn, while sitting beside the well, Flora watched the still water's surface. As her breathing calmed, she saw her own reflection clearly for the first time. In that moment of clarity, she understood. The ripples of discord she experienced were merely echoes of her own inner turbulence. When you recognize that your outer world mirrors your inner state, you unlock one of the universe's most powerful secrets. Every person you encounter serves as a reflection of your own vibration, responding not to your words or actions, but to the energy you emanate. Flora began a simple practice. Before leaving her home each morning, she would sit in silence until peace filled her being. Gradually, she noticed a remarkable shift. The same villagers who once greeted her with suspicion now offered warm smiles. Conversations that previously sparked conflict now flowed with ease and understanding. In a distant city, Albert faced a similar revelation. After years of estrangement from his brother, their relationship had become a frozen lake of unspoken words. One day, Albert realized that his resentment acted as a wall, blocking any possibility of reconciliation. Instead of waiting for his brother to change, he began to cultivate love within his own heart. Without speaking a word, without any outward action, Albert noticed subtle shifts. The energy between them began to thaw. One morning, his brother reached out, the first contact in years. Their reunion flowed naturally, as if the universe had orchestrated every detail. You see, love possesses a frequency that transcends physical distance. When you shift your inner state, you initiate a ripple effect through the fabric of reality. Your relationships don't improve because others change. They transform because you've altered the energetic foundation from which they grow. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and bring to mind someone in your life. Close your eyes and allow appreciation to well up within your heart. Feel it expanding, growing warmer, until it overflows naturally toward them. Maintain this current of appreciation until you sense the distance between you dissolving in the warmth of pure love. Chapter 19. The Symphony of Balance. In a bustling marketplace, Olive, a skilled healer, tended to everyone's needs while her own spirit withered. From sunrise to sunset, she offered remedies, counsel, and comfort to an endless stream of villagers. Though her herbs brought relief to many, her own garden of inner peace lay untended, its soil growing barren with each passing season. The wisdom you seek lies not in endless giving, but in the sacred dance between giving and receiving. Like the breath itself, each exhale must be matched by an inhale, each outflow balanced by an inflow. One evening, as Olive's hands trembled with exhaustion, an old woman appeared at her door. Instead of seeking help, she offered Olive a simple cup of tea. "The universe flows both ways," the woman said, her eyes twinkling with ancient knowing. "When we refuse to receive, we dam the river of abundance that wishes to nourish us." Through every exchange in your life, the universe seeks equilibrium. Each relationship serves as a channel for energy to flow freely in both directions. When you consistently give without receiving, you disrupt this natural balance, creating discord in the very harmony you wish to maintain. In a distant valley, Simon conducted the village orchestra. For years he pushed his musicians to perfection, driving himself and others to exhaustion. The music grew mechanical, lifeless, until the day he discovered that true harmony emerges not from force, but from balance. "Let us first listen," he told his orchestra one morning. "Before we play, let us receive the silence." As they sat in stillness, something shifted. The music that followed flowed with an ease they had never known, each note both giving and receiving in perfect measure. Your relationships mirror this orchestra. When you allow yourself to receive love, appreciation, and support, you create space for genuine connection. The heart that knows how to receive grows stronger in its ability to give. The law of attraction operates through this principle of equilibrium. As you open yourself to receiving, you align with the universe's natural flow. Your relationships transform from depleting exchanges into nurturing dances of mutual growth. place a hand on your heart and say, I am allowed to receive as I give. Chapter 20. The Signature of Joy. High in the mountain village, Lottie spent her days meticulously planning each step toward happiness. She believed that once she achieved her goals, the perfect home, ideal relationship, and successful business, joy would naturally follow. Yet with each accomplishment, that promised happiness remained just beyond reach. Within your own journey, you may recognize this pattern, the belief that joy arrives only after achievement. But this understanding inverts the true nature of manifestation. Joy is not the destination, it is the compass that guides you there. One morning, as Lottie grudgingly worked through her daily tasks, she noticed a street musician playing beneath her window. His melody was simple, yet his face radiated pure delight. Despite his worn clothes and empty coin cup, his energy seemed to dance on the wind. As she watched, passers-by began to pause, smile, and join his revelry. Soon, opportunities flowed to him, an invitation to play at the local festival, a benefactor offering patronage, even love sparking with a fellow musician who stopped to harmonize, like calls to like in the universal dance. When you emanate joy, you broadcast at the frequency of miracles. Victor, a humble potter, discovered this truth when he decided to create simply for the pleasure of it, releasing all expectations of success. His workshop became a sanctuary of laughter and experimentation. Soon, collectors were drawn to his radiant pieces, sensing the joy infused within each curve and glaze. His prosperity grew not from striving, but from allowing delight to lead the way. The universe responds not to your actions, but to your vibration. When you choose joy first, before the evidence of success appears, you align with the natural state of abundance. Like a flower turning toward the sun, your energy reaches for what nurtures it. Joy is your soul's way of saying, yes, this is the way. Ancient practice of joy reset. Find a quiet moment and recall something that sparks genuine delight, perhaps a cherished memory, a beloved song, or the simple pleasure of movement. Let yourself fully experience this joy, allowing your smile to emerge naturally. Feel how this shift in energy creates space for miracles to enter. This practice isn't about forcing happiness, but about remembering your natural state of being. Part 3. The Radiance of Mastery. Chapter 21. The Infinite Self. Along the misty shores of an ancient coastline, Beatrice stood each morning, meticulously measuring her progress in meditation. She kept detailed journals of her spiritual insights, constantly evaluating whether she was advanced enough in her practice. The very act of quantifying her growth had become a subtle form of resistance, a way her mind maintained the illusion of separation. Like many who walk the path of awakening, you may find yourself creating artificial boundaries around your spiritual unfoldment. These self-imposed limitations arise from the mind's attempt to categorize the limitless. Yet the truth remains. You are not becoming something greater. You are remembering what you have always been. One dawn, as Beatrice performed her usual ritual of self-assessment, a profound shift occurred. The rising sun cast diamonds of light across the water, and in that moment, she saw how the ocean existed as both individual waves and the vast wholeness of water itself. Neither truth negated the other. The wave remained a wave while simultaneously being the entire ocean. This revelation mirrors the essential teaching that has echoed through the ages. Your consciousness is both individual and infinite. Norman, a clockmaker, touched this truth while repairing an intricate timepiece. As he tuned each delicate mechanism, he realized his ability to understand the clock's complexity came not from his limited mind, but from an infinite intelligence flowing through him. The universe does not exist separate from your awareness. It expresses itself through your consciousness. When you release the need to measure your spiritual progress, you allow your natural state of unlimited being to emerge. Like water finding its own level, your awareness naturally expands to embrace greater truth when you stop forcing it into predetermined shapes. Your soul knows no bounds. It is the infinite taking form through your unique expression. Each time you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not enough," or "I need to be more spiritual," remember, these are simply thoughts floating on the surface of your vast ocean of being. Sacred practice. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Feel the rhythm of your breath, not as something you do, but as the universe breathing through you. Without effort, let your awareness expand beyond the boundaries of your form. Rest in the knowing that you are one with infinite intelligence within and without. This is not an affirmation to believe, but a truth to remember. Chapter 22. The Flow of Forgiveness. In a valley where ancient wisdom whispered through tall grass, Cora carried the weight of past hurts like stones in her pockets. Each morning, she would touch these invisible burdens, a betrayal from 5 years past, words that cut deeper than blades, trust shattered like pottery against stone. Her garden, once vibrant with life, had grown sparse and withered, mirroring the constriction in her heart. One dawn, as she tended her failing roses, an old woman appeared at her gate. "Your flowers are thirsting," the stranger observed, "not for water, but for the light trapped within you." The words struck Cora like summer lightning, illuminating a truth she had long denied. Her resentment had become a wall, blocking not only pain, but also the flow of life itself. When you hold tight to injury, you bind yourself to that very energy. The universe cannot deliver fresh blessings through clenched hands. Release is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of power, for in letting go, you reclaim the natural flow of abundance that is your birthright. Harold discovered this truth when his business partner's betrayal left him bankrupt. For months, anger consumed his thoughts until one morning, looking in the mirror, he barely recognized the bitter man staring back. In that moment of clarity, he made a choice to unclench his spirit and release the poison of resentment. Within days of his decision, unexpected opportunities began appearing. A chance encounter led to a more prosperous partnership. The energy he had spent maintaining his grievance now fueled creative solutions. His liberation came not from forgetting, but from choosing to free himself from the bonds of blame. The universe responds not to your words or actions, but to the vibration you hold. Forgiveness is not about condoning what happened. It is about freeing yourself from the energetic chains that bind you to that experience. When you release others from your judgment, you release yourself from the frequency of pain. Ancient practice of liberation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and envision a gentle cleansing light descending from above. Let this light wash through your being, dissolving the dark crystals of resentment you've carried. Now, picture each person who has caused you pain, surrounded by this same healing light. Watch as the bonds of blame dissolve, setting both you and them free. Feel the lightness that remains when the weight of judgment lifts. Chapter 23. The Radiant Body of Energy. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a weaver named Fay sat at her loom, her movements slow and heavy. Each thread she wove seemed to drain more energy from her being. Though her tapestries once danced with vibrant colors and intricate patterns, lately they reflected the grayness she felt within. No matter how many hours she rested, vitality eluded her grasp. The universe speaks first through whispers, then through experience. For Fay, the message arrived through her craft. As she observed her work, she noticed how the threads mirrored her own state. When she wove with tension, the fabric grew tight and constrained. When her movements flowed with ease, the pattern emerged with natural grace. You, too, may recognize this truth. Your physical vessel and your thoughts create the foundation of your vibrational signature. Just as a musical instrument must be properly tuned to produce harmonious notes, your body and mind must align to emanate the frequency of well-being. Through the windows of Fay's shop, a craftsman named Ralph worked across the street. Each day, he approached his woodworking with such joy that his very presence seemed to illuminate the space around him. His laugh rang out like bells, his movements fluid and purposeful. Customers often remarked that simply entering his workshop lifted their spirits. One morning, watching Ralph's natural vitality, Fay understood. He wasn't merely working. He was dancing with life itself. His joy wasn't a result of his energy. His energy was a result of his joy. The revelation transformed her approach to her craft and her daily existence. When you honor your vessel as a sacred instrument of creation, it responds with renewed vigor. Your thoughts are not mere musings. They are instructions to your cellular structure, directing the flow of life force through your being. As you align your physical care with uplifting thoughts, you activate a natural state of vitality that magnetizes similar energies from the universe. The ancient practice of life force activation. Move gently while imagining golden light flowing through every limb. This timeless practice reminds you that you are not separate from the vital force that animates all of creation. Through conscious movement and visualization, you re-establish your connection to the endless stream of universal energy. Chapter 24. The Bridge of Imagination. In a quiet village among rolling hills, June sat in her small art studio, surrounded by blank canvases that seemed to mock her creative drought. For years, she had dismissed her daydreams as mere distractions, pushing aside the vivid images that danced through her mind in favor of what she deemed practical thinking. One morning, while arranging her brushes, June noticed a shimmer of golden light filtering through her window. The light cast patterns on her empty canvas, and for a moment she allowed herself to see the images that formed in these dancing shadows. Without judgment, she began to paint what she saw in her mind's eye, a thriving gallery filled with admirers, her art touching hearts, her passion igniting inspiration in others. As you journey through this existence, the universe reveals that imagination is not escapism. It is the blueprint from which reality takes form. Your thoughts are not mere electrical impulses. They are the seeds of creation itself. Just as the mighty oak begins as a tender acorn, every manifestation starts as a single thought, nurtured by the soil of belief. In a neighboring town, Chester, a retired teacher, discovered this truth in his own way. Each evening, he would sit in his garden, allowing himself to envision the community center he longed to create. Instead of dismissing these visions as impossible dreams, he began to trust them as divine inspiration. Within months, unexpected allies appeared, resources flowed, and the once empty lot transformed into a vibrant gathering place that matched his inner vision with stunning precision. The law of attraction responds not to what you see with your physical eyes, but to what you behold with your inner sight. When you grant yourself permission to imagine freely, you align with the universe's natural creative force. Your imagination is the chisel with which you carve your reality from the marble of infinite possibility. Let your mind become as a child's once more, unrestricted by doubt, unmarred by past disappointments. The universe delights in imagination, for it is through this sacred gift that you participate in the eternal dance of creation. Your dreams are not random fantasies. They are the universe whispering of possibilities that await your recognition. When you trust your creative vision, you activate a magnetic force that draws circumstances, people, and opportunities into alignment with your inner picture. Each time you imagine with feeling, you transmit a clear signal to the cosmic field, which then begins orchestrating events to match your frequency. As June embraced her creative power, her paintings began to reflect not just what her eyes could see, but what her heart knew was possible. Her art gallery materialized with such precision that visitors often remarked it felt as though they had stepped into one of her paintings. Chester's community center became a living testament to the power of sustained vision, touching lives in ways he had only imagined. The practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and allow your mind's eye to project your ideal life onto the screen of consciousness. Watch it unfold like a beloved film. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the emotions of living your dream. As each scene plays, let gratitude fill your heart, knowing that what you imagine already exists in the realm of potential, simply awaiting your recognition. Let this gratitude be the final scene of your vision, sealing your creative work with the power of appreciation. Chapter 25. The Pulse of Patience. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Etta sat among her precious wares, her fingers drumming restlessly against the wooden counter. Each day she watched others prosper while her own dreams of abundance seemed to hover just beyond reach. The more she grasped at success, the more it appeared to slip through her fingers like grains of sand. The universe speaks through the language of divine timing, and its wisdom flows not through force, but through surrender. You stand now at the threshold of understanding that manifestation follows the natural rhythm of creation, just as a flower cannot be forced to bloom before its season. Etta's story mirrors the struggle within your own heart. Each morning, she would rise before dawn, implementing new strategies, pushing harder, believing that through sheer determination she could bend time to her will. Yet her anxiety created a barrier, an energetic wall through which even the most beautiful blessings could not pass. In the same marketplace dwelled Martin, a potter whose hands shaped clay with unhurried dedication. While others rushed to complete their wares, he understood that each piece required its own time to emerge. His vessels became known throughout the land, not for their quantity, but for their quality, each one a testament to the power of patient craftsmanship. Through Martin's example, Etta began to witness the subtle dance between desire and detachment. She observed how his peaceful acceptance seemed to attract opportunities effortlessly, while her own desperate reaching pushed them away. Gradually, she learned to release her grip on outcomes, discovering that trust in divine timing opened doors that force could never breach. The universe operates on a scale far grander than human perception can grasp. What appears as delay often serves as protection, preparation, or perfection of circumstances yet unseen. When you align with this truth, resistance dissolves, and energy flows unimpeded toward your highest good. As your own journey unfolds, remember that every seeming delay carries within it the seeds of perfect timing. The universe's wisdom far exceeds the limited view of human impatience. In releasing the need to control when and how your desires manifest, you create space for miracles to enter through unexpected doorways. Practice for aligning with divine timing. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly, reminding yourself, the universe knows the perfect time. Chapter 26. The Union of Heart and Mind. In the quiet foothills where ancient wisdom whispers through rustling leaves, Sadie wandered lost between what her mind calculated and what her heart knew to be true. Each morning she would meticulously plan her path to success, creating detailed strategies that left no room for uncertainty. Yet with every carefully constructed plan, an inner voice called her toward a different way, one that defied logical explanation. The universe operates through perfect harmony between thought and feeling, between the wisdom of the mind and the knowing of the heart. When these forces align, creation flows with effortless grace. As Sadie sat beneath an old oak tree one dawn, watching golden light filter through branches, understanding dawned within her. She realized that her endless analysis had become a wall between her and the very abundance she sought. In that moment of clarity, she allowed her heart's wisdom to rise and meet her thoughts, creating a bridge between both worlds. Leonard, a humble craftsman in the valley below, had already discovered this delicate balance. Each piece he created emerged from a dance between careful technique and intuitive flow. Where others saw his work as mere woodcraft, those who looked closer recognized the mark of aligned creation, the perfect fusion of head and heart. "I follow the grain of the wood," Leonard would say, "but I listen with more than my eyes." His workshop became a sanctuary where intellect served inspiration rather than commanding it. As orders flowed in without effort, and his reputation spread through whispered recommendations, Leonard embodied the truth that success follows naturally when wisdom and compassion guide action. Your own path to manifestation opens through this same sacred marriage of mind and heart. The intellect serves as the vessel, while the heart provides the current that carries you toward your dreams. When doubt arises, it signals not a failure of belief, but an invitation to realign these twin forces of creation. The practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Place one hand upon your forehead, connecting to your mind's clarity. Rest your other hand upon your heart, touching the seat of your inner knowing. Breathe slowly and deeply until you feel the rhythm of both centers beating as one, mind and heart united in perfect harmony. This is the frequency of aligned manifestation. Chapter 27. The Soul of Service. In the stillness of an ancient temple, a merchant named Georgia spent her days trading precious wares, yet felt a gnawing emptiness despite her material success. Each evening she would count her coins, finding them cold comfort against the silence of her heart. One day, as she arranged her collection of healing crystals, an elderly woman approached her stall. The woman's eyes were clouded with tears, her shoulders heavy with untold burdens. Without thinking, Georgia took the woman's hand, sharing stories of how certain stones had brought her comfort in times of distress. As she spoke, she noticed the woman's expression softening, hope returning to her features. This simple act awakened something within Georgia. She began offering free workshops, teaching others about the healing properties of crystals. Her knowledge, once used solely for profit, transformed into a bridge of connection. With each person she helped, the emptiness within her diminished, replaced by a warmth that no amount of gold could purchase. When you align your natural gifts with service to others, you tap into the universe's abundant flow. Your talents are not random occurrences. They are divine tools meant to uplift both yourself and those around you. The law of attraction responds most powerfully when your energy radiates outward in genuine service. In a distant valley, Clyde discovered this same truth through different means. A skilled artisan who crafted beautiful furniture, he had always measured his worth by the price his pieces commanded. Yet when he began crafting chairs for a local shelter, something shifted. Each piece he created with loving intention brought him more joy than any sale ever had. His workshop, once a place of solitary toil, became filled with apprentices drawn to the light in his eyes as he worked. The universe whispers this truth. When you use your gifts in service to others, you align with the natural flow of abundance. It is not the act itself, but the joy behind it that creates the strongest attraction. Every skill you possess is a channel through which divine energy can flow, touching lives in ways you may never fully know. As you share your unique gifts, you become a conduit for universal love. This is not about diminishing your worth or giving until you're depleted. It's about recognizing that true fulfillment comes through contribution. The law of attraction responds to this energy of giving by multiplying what you already possess. Sacred practice. Offer one act of service infused with joy, expecting nothing in return. Chapter 28. The Presence of Love. In a quiet mountain village, there lived a wise woman named Elsa who taught the children music. Though she shared her gift freely, she carried deep frustration when her students failed to practice or show progress. Her expectations cast shadows over the joy she once found in teaching. One autumn morning, a young boy with trembling hands struggled to play even the simplest melody. Rather than correct him, Elsa felt moved to simply sit beside him in acceptance. In that moment of pure presence, free from judgment or desire to change him, something remarkable occurred. The boy began to play with unexpected grace. This revelation opened a doorway within Elsa's heart. She discovered that when she released her grip on outcomes and embraced each student exactly as they were, their natural talents blossomed effortlessly. her classroom transformed from a place of striving into a sanctuary of unconditional acceptance. As your journey deepens, you come to understand that love without conditions holds the highest creative force in the universe. When you release the need to control, judge, or change what is, you align with the natural flow of creation itself. This pure acceptance generates a field of allowing that invites transformation without struggle. Preston, a merchant known for his shrewd business dealings, learned this truth through an unexpected encounter. After years of measuring relationships by what they could provide, he took in a stray dog despite its limp and matted fur. For the first time, he gave love freely, expecting nothing in return. To his amazement, this simple act began shifting everything. His rigid expectations of others softened. Business partnerships that once felt strained began flowing with surprising ease. By extending unconditional love to one small creature, Preston had unknowingly altered his own vibration. The universe responds not to your intentions alone, but to the quality of energy behind them. When your desires arise from unconditional love rather than need or lack, they carry a power that transcends ordinary manifestation. This love without bounds or requirements becomes the very frequency of miracles. Through Elsa and Preston's experiences, you glimpse a profound truth. The path of unconditional love transforms not only relationships, but reality itself. When you release conditions, judgments, and expectations, you allow the universe to work through you in its highest expression. Sacred practice. Rest your attention on your heart's center until warmth expands outward as quiet radiance. Chapter 29. The Return to Wholeness. In a seaside cottage where waves whispered ancient truths, Minnie spent years battling what she perceived as imperfections. Each morning brought a new list of improvements needed. Her mind too scattered, her emotions too intense, her progress too slow. The mirror reflected only what she deemed lacking, never the light that lived within. One dawn, as she walked along the shore, scattered shells caught her attention. Some were broken, others whole, yet each one shimmered with equal beauty in the morning light. A profound understanding washed over her. Completeness wasn't something to achieve. It was her natural state of being. The universe operates through wholeness, not fragmentation. You are already complete, regardless of outer circumstances or inner struggles. This truth lies dormant within your consciousness until you recognize that seeking completion implies separation from your divine nature. Minnie began embracing herself exactly as she was. Her scattered thoughts became evidence of her creative nature, her intense emotions proof of her depth. Rather than fixing herself, she allowed herself to be. In this acceptance, her energy shifted, not through effort, but through recognition of her inherent divinity. Earl's journey mirrored this awakening. For decades he pursued health through endless remedies and regimens, viewing his body as a problem to solve. Exhausted by perpetual self-improvement, he finally surrendered to a simple truth. Wholeness was his birthright. As Earl released the struggle to become whole, his body responded with remarkable wisdom. Sleep deepened, tension dissolved, and clarity emerged naturally. He discovered that health flows not from forcing change, but from aligning with the completeness already present within. When you remember your divine completeness, the universe reflects this remembrance back to you. Every cell vibrates with this truth. You were never broken, never lacking, never separate from the source of all creation. Your journey isn't toward wholeness. It's an awakening to the wholeness that has always been. The appearance of imperfection serves as an invitation to remember who you truly are. Each perceived flaw offers a doorway back to your essential nature. As you embrace your completeness, life reorganizes around this central truth, manifesting as harmony in body, mind, and spirit. Sacred practice. With each inhale, silently say, "I am whole," until every breath answers in agreement. Chapter 30. The Magic Remembered. In a small cottage among ancient oaks, Vera sat surrounded by journals spanning decades. Each page chronicled her struggles, victories, and the endless pursuit of manifestation techniques. As she turned the weathered chapters, a pattern emerged that took her breath away. Every challenge, every seeming failure had guided her toward deeper understanding. Through years of spiritual seeking, she had searched for the perfect formula, the exact sequence of thoughts and actions that would unlock the universe's abundance. Yet here, in the quiet of her study, she saw that life itself had been her greatest teacher. The promotion she didn't receive led her to start her own business. The relationship that ended sparked a journey of self-discovery. Even her darkest moments had carried seeds of transformation. When confusion clouded her path, nature itself offered wisdom. The oak trees never forced their growth, yet they reached magnificent heights. The seasons never rushed their turning, yet change always came. The stars never strained to shine, yet their light traveled across infinity. The teachings reveal themselves through simplicity. The universe speaks in every moment, through every experience. Your journey has never been about learning new techniques, but about remembering what your soul has always known. The contrast between what you want and what you have serves as a compass, always pointing toward alignment. In the heart of the city, Leo walked through his art gallery one final time before retirement. Each painting on the wall reflected a different phase of his spiritual journey, from darkness to light, from seeking to finding. As he stood before his latest work, an abstract explosion of golden light, understanding dawned with perfect clarity. The magic he had sought through meditation, mantras, and manifestation practices had always resided within. Every tool and technique simply helped him clear away the debris that covered this eternal truth. We are not separate from the universe's creative force. We are that force expressing itself in human form. The law of attraction was never a mechanism to be mastered, but rather the natural expression of our own divine nature. When we align with this truth, we don't need to manipulate energy. We simply allow our natural state of abundance to flow unimpeded. Ancient practice for remembering. Stand beneath the open sky, whisper thank you, and let the universe breathe the words back. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As this journey comes to its gentle close, a single truth rises like dawn within you. The magic you've been searching for has never been missing. It has lived quietly in the depths of your being, waiting for the moment you would turn inward and remember. With every teaching, every practice, and every spark of recognition, you have been walking the ancient path back to your own timeless power. The law of attraction is not a distant force to chase or control. It is the natural rhythm of your existence. Like a river flowing faithfully toward the ocean, you have been guided back to the knowing that you are woven into the very fabric of the universe. Every obstacle, every pause, every seeming detour has been a soft invitation to realign with this eternal truth. As you step beyond these chapters, carry this remembrance. The same energy that spins galaxies courses through you. Your thoughts and feelings are not fragile wishes drifting into emptiness. They are threads of creation, shaping the world around you with unwavering precision. The universe listens not to your words, but to the frequency you embody. Your ability to create does not come from effort, but from alignment. It flows from the steadiness of your presence, from your willingness to trust, from the quiet confidence of knowing who you are beneath all illusions. When you rest in this awareness, manifestation becomes effortless, an exhale of your soul. Let this final truth settle deeply within you. You are not discovering anything new, but awakening what your spirit has always known. The power is not in these teachings, but in the resonance they stirred awake inside you. You are the dream and the dreamer, the creator and the creation, the spark and the flame. Hold this wisdom close. The universe mirrors your frequency, not your requests. And when you choose alignment, life becomes your ally, your guide, and your eternal partner in the sacred dance of creation.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.